Darkness was my enemy. She held my hand at night. Through my pain she spoke and said, "You shall fear the light." For fear was her star-crossed lover, black and beaming bright. Their offspring I became, a sickening delight. Van Gogh said that true art is bridging the gap between what you can draw and what you can see, and eventually drawing and seeing become the same thing. I started drawing when I was a kid. At about 13, 14, I was in school and they had an assignment for me to draw something realistic. I drew something and it had a profound effect on me. I realized in that moment that I wanted to be an artist. At a young age, I was very, very sad. I was a sensitive child. My parents divorced when I was 9 years old, and that had a profound effect on who I was as a person. There was a lot of contention in my home, and I went through a couple divorces with my parents, and I kind of just hid myself from the outside world, and art was my escape for a long time. Eventually it became my salvation, but for a long time it was my escape. As I turned 19, I served a mission for my church for 2 years. During that time, you could say that I was very, very lost as a person. I didn't really know who I was. All my pain from my childhood kind of came out during my mission. The longer I did this missionary work and the further I went into this path that my ancestors had laid out for me, the further I felt distance from myself. When I came home from those 2 years, I dipped in and out of psychosis. I was sleeping 2 hours a night. I was having panic attacks. I was diagnosed with OCD, major depression, bipolar. I became addicted to drugs, mostly stimulants, so Adderall and cocaine. I was addicted for about 4 years, and my life spiraled out of control. I ended up homeless, and I ended up in a park at 2 a.m. I slashed both my wrists multiple times and stabbed myself in the stomach because I was done. I didn't want to live. But something inside me, while that knife was halfway through my stomach, told me that this wasn't the end, that I had more to do. And so from there, I called the police on myself, and they escorted me to a psych facility for the next week. After I was in the psych facility, I was transferred to a homeless shelter/rehab, and there I spent 9 months learning how to become vulnerable with myself and others, how to love myself despite my darkness and those things that I had hidden from myself for so long. And I realized my worth at the lowest point of my life. Through research, through study, through my art, I began a process of self-discovery. Over time, I began to start to feel things come up from my childhood and from my pain that I had never processed. And so when that started happening, I knew that was the way I was going to heal. I discovered Carl Jung, who was a Swiss psychoanalyst. He pioneered what's called shadow work. It's essentially facing those parts of yourself that you deny or that you hide from other people in yourself. So your darkness, the darkness that was consuming me, and so I had to face it. I have a big passion for homelessness and addiction, and my purpose as an artist is to tell the stories of those people that feel like they have no worth. Because I've been there and I know what it feels like. My process is a little bit different than most people. Most people plan out a piece of art. I don't. I actually just draw it as it comes. Without planning the piece, you're able to tap into your subconscious mind. If you let it flow out of you and draw it as it comes, then you're essentially looking at that shadow, that darkness that you've been hiding from yourself. And that's been really healing for me. I've had a lot of spiritual experiences surrounding my art. I want to provide that for other people too. So that's my main mission, is to show people who they are, their dark parts of themselves, so that I can bring it into the light. I want to raise people up through my art. I want to heal people and show them the darkness that they've been hiding from themselves through my art and help them heal. In closing, I'd like to share a poem I wrote about a year after I got sober, when I created what I believe is my best piece. It says, "Darkness was my enemy. She held my hand at night. Through my pain she spoke and said, 'You shall fear the light.' For fear was her star-crossed lover, black and beaming bright. Their offspring I became, a sickening delight." But I came to the conclusion that light would finally see through the chambers of my swollen heart beside that gnarled tree. Light and dark have found me. I'm not whole without each half. Two snakes intertwining around my winding staff. Don't deny the darkness. Light is just around the bend. See it, feel it, know it's there. Death is not the end.